long has it been since I've reviewed anything of Transformers? Quite some time. Anyway, it's time to go back to Transformers Combiner Wars with Leader Class Ultra Magnus, a figure that I've been anticipating for ages, at least from what it feels like, because this figure's been out for a while and I have never seen him at retail until now. So here he is at long last, the Leader Class figure I've been looking forward to reviewing to the reviewing station for a long time now. So what we got here is pretty much your generic Transformers Combiner Wars box art, which consists of a nice image of the character, which is Ultra Magnus. We got his name at the bottom left corner, Hasbro's logo on the bottom right corner, the misaligned Transformers Generations logo at the top right corner, and going down it, it's the Transformers logo. Yay. Flipping to the back, which is another plus, we have a nice look at Ultra Magnus in both robot mode and his vehicle mode, which is traditional to the Generation 1 character. We got a bio for Ultra Magnus right here. We also get a nice look at Minimus Ambus, which is his additional counterpart, or pretty much which is Ultra Magnus. Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the comic books, well, that's not my problem. So that's pretty much going to do it for this here. Let's go ahead and get rid of the box and just bring in Ultra Magnus. Okay, so before we get to Ultra Magnus, let's take a look at the contents this figure comes with, which is obviously his set of instructions, which is not bad. Looks pretty good, and it's pretty easy to follow along with, so there's that. It's like 20 steps or something, and here's his card. Yeah, same artwork that was on the package, and now you can see Minimus Ambus right here and see a scale difference, which is pretty much even with both figures in robot mode. So there's that, and there's Ultra Magnus with a little bit of some rework, and that being his hubcaps. Yeah, I repainted the hubcaps, and by repainted I mean they weren't even painted at all, so I painted them up, and I'm pretty good at this, as you can see. Very clean work. Took a little time, but hey, a little patience comes a long way. So he rolls pretty well in this mode, and yes, the truck is not stationary. As you can see, it actually is free moving, but if you wanted to, you could slide it back and lock it into place, but who would want to do that? And sometimes it gets stuck doing that too, so just bear with me for 1 second. There we go. Let me re-tab this in. Oh, this is due to transformation, by the way. Not the best design, but hey, it gets the job done in robot mode, you'll see. So yeah, all wheels roll pretty well. So that's pretty much it for the truck mode. All it is just like a car carrier, which is what it's always been for Ultra Magnus, in all honesty. He does come with some accessories, which I've got in hammer mode. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to show that off right away, but he's got his iconic blaster, and then he's got like a Gatling gun, which is interesting, and then he's got his rocket pods, which can peg in vehicle mode like so on both sides. There we go. And then for his blasters, I'd like to put this one right here on this side. It's kind of loose, but hey, it still gets the job done. And this one will peg in right here, which is tight, but hey, it gets the job done. And there we go, there's storage. Unfortunately for little Minimus Ambus here, which I'm going to show off real quickly, he doesn't have anywhere to be stored in Ultra Magnus vehicle mode. I mean, if you try to put him up here, he falls through. If you try to put him down here, it just looks ridiculous. So I just like to see him right next to Ultra Magnus, or a little behind, because it's all about Magnus and not really Minimus Ambus, even though Minimus Ambus is Ultra Magnus now. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this little guy all set up and out of the way. So let me just move aside Ultra Magnus for 1 second so we can focus in one more time on Minimus Ambus in case I missed anything. Try saying that 5 times. Minimus Ambus, Minimus Ambus, Minimus Ambus. Oh, yeah. Anyway, Transformation is pretty simplistic for a little guy. Kind of like a mini-con in a way from Transformers Armada. Except this piece right here always seems to be the burden. It's not easy to get this piece to come down, but there we go. And there's Minimus Ambus. And here's a nice look at the face of Minimus Ambus with that cute little mustache. Yeah, he's got himself a goatee going there. Pretty neat. For articulation, there's nothing at the head, but he does have ball jointed shoulders, which makes up for that. No waist rotation. Legs are ball jointed, they go up, they go in and out. They do go back, by the way, just in case I forgot. And he's got a pivoting joint to the knees due to transformation, and outside of that, that's pretty much it. The figure can pretty much stand on his own if you work with it, but since I've got an imbalanced board here as the reviewing station, it's not that easy. Sometimes I have to bend him forward just because of that, but hey, he will stand just fine. So there's Minimus Ambus. Now bring back Ultra Magnus real quickly for a quick size comparison, since something that I've always wanted to do. Since getting this figure, I always had this planned. Unfortunately, pulling this guy out of storage is bringing the death of me, in all honesty, with all this yellowing. It's unfortunate. Poor Ultra Magnus. So what we got here for comparisons, if I could back up the camera just a little bit more, bring it down just a little bit more, got a nice comparisons in scale with Ultra Magnus of today compared to Ultra Magnus of Transformers Robots in the Sky / Car Robots back in 2001. So you can tell there's a difference in scale today. What is a leader class back then? Here's a leader class now. So, you know, this figure isn't hollow. This one is. But what are you going to do, right? So that takes care of that comparisons. And now for the fun part about this figure. Transforming him into robot mode. And I got to say, 20 steps, it's not easy first time around. So just go ahead and take off his rocket pods, missile pods, whatever. Remove his guns. Easier said than done. Make some room because this boy is about to get big. So here we go. What I like to do is start here and then untab this side right here. Untab the arms, the obvious arms. Bring them up and around like so. Fold down these panels here. Bring all this up. And this is easier said than done as well, but you want to untab the chest piece to Magnus. Yes, the chest piece. Like so. And that should just free it up. That's what I like to do. Your results will vary. Go ahead and bring out his feet. Get them all situated. Again, easier said than done because everything likes to catch on everything, if that makes sense. Take this, slide it back like so, and it should tab in. Sometimes it doesn't like to tab in, but hey, work with it. There we go. Same thing on this side here. Slide this so you can see it. Tab this in. And that's the one foot that really doesn't like to tab in, especially for his shin guard. But there we go. That's pretty much the bottom half of Ultra Magnus, except for on the back we fold this up. There's a tab here and there's a hole here, and they will tab together. Same thing on this side here, like so. There we go. There's the bottom of Ultra Magnus. Let me raise the camera some more so you can see everything else. He's about to be a big boy. Bring down his chest compartment. We're not done with that yet. Just split this, bring these down, and pretty much collapse them in. They will hold in. Bring up his smokestacks, or whatever you call these, just stacks. Bring this up, it locks into place. Repeat the same thing over here on this side, like so. Bring this up, lock it into place. Get the arms out of the way for a little bit because we gotta work with this now. So what we're gonna do is fold this bit up like so. Bring back out his arms. Then I'm going to slide down the truck compartment, split this bit right here, easier said than done, rotate like so, and then this is going to fall down like so. I apologize if you can't see any of this. This is a terrible, terrible tripod. First you want to open up this compartment before you do such a thing, and then you're going to flip out the head and raise the head. Trust me, we're not done here. Next, back up Magnus a little bit so we can bring back in MAGNUS Ambus, because there's a little bit of a console in here. There's a seat and some controls and some buttons and some levers that he can use for pretend play. And MAGNUS Ambus will sit in here just fine. As a matter of fact, he actually sits in here pretty flush. Just takes a little doing. If you will just bear with me for 1 second, I will show you that MAGNUS Ambus will sit in here just fine. Easier said than done, apparently. Yep, that's the theme of today's review. Everything's easier said than done, but he's almost there. Ah, come on. There we go, now he's in. Okay, so now we close this compartment up, then we flip up the chest piece like so. It will tap in. It will tap in. Come on, tab. Tab. There we go. And last but not least, bring down the head. And that should hide MAGNUS Ambus and fill in that gap around his neck. Adjust the figure to your liking to get him to stand straight, and lo and behold, from what you can see, because of this terrible, terrible tripod stand, here is Ultra Magnus in robot mode, and he is pretty back heavy. Even though he doesn't have much of kibble going on back there, this backpack is pretty much enough for him to fall over. And look at the way his feet are actually balanced here. Let me show you this real quickly. His feet have very little heel spurs, so he is hardly supporting himself in the back, unfortunately. So you have to bend him a little forward just to get him to stand just fine. But other than that, he is a pretty cool figure. I mean, this is an amazing, amazing figure, and I cannot get enough of owning this Ultra Magnus at long last in my hands. He is pretty good. One of his smokestacks to his head looks like it's a little short. But that's probably just me. You're not going to be able to see it, but I want to show you the Autobot symbol right there. And all this detail that's on his chest piece, which is pretty cool. As a matter of fact, just everywhere on this figure, it's all pretty cool. And pretty accurate to the IDW comic book. So, you know, I'm loving this figure. It's an amazing, amazing figure. And he's fully articulated. And he pretty much takes up a good chunk of the reviewing station. I'm really sorry, I cannot get this whole figure on camera no matter what I do. And every time I move this tripod, it likes to fall over with the camera. So I need to look into a new tripod. But anyway, let's get to its articulation and get that out of the way. Ultra Magnus is limited to the head, but he does have a swivel because of the connection piece on the back of it. He can look up a little bit. He can't look down though because of the way that it works. He's got rotation at the shoulder joint. He's also got some pivoting here with nice ratcheting clicks. Pretty nice. And you can slide these up to get more movement out of it. See? Pretty interesting. Bicep swivel. He's got single jointed elbow, but it's got a nice ratcheting click too. No wrist rotation, unfortunately. No waist rotation, unfortunately. Legs are universal. They go up. They're pretty tight, by the way. They go back. Not much farther than that. In and out. Rotation at the thigh. Single jointed knee, 90 degrees. And last but not least, the feet pivot up and down. And if you wanted to, you can push them back and forward because of the joint being double jointed. But no side to side. even though the figure is kind of standing side to side because of the way his feet are molded. But that's really gonna be it for this figure. The only other thing to show off is pretty much the additional pieces. So taking the rocket pods here, just tab them in like so, and tab it in like so. This one's tighter for some reason. I cannot understand why, but there's that if you wanted to. His signature blaster, you can put it in his hands, and his hands got some articulation as well, but they're all jointed together, so there's no free movement to the fingers. So don't expect me to be flipping up the middle finger on this figure anytime soon, but there you go. He's holding it pretty tight for what it is. See? And this one, on the other hand, is a little tricky because I can't actually get his trigger finger to actually hold the trigger. I have to put it underneath the trigger in order to get him to grasp this pretty tight. But he's holding his weapons pretty good. Yeah, he's even on camera. See? No problem. Working just fine. And there's one more trick to his weapons as I accidentally showed off at the beginning of this video. So what you can do is, there's a little peg right here, and there's a hole right here for the gun itself. Just peg this in like so, and we got like a battle mace. I'm kidding, okay? What you can do is take off his missile pods, rocket pods. If I keep calling them rocket pods, my mistake, okay? Tap this in like so. Tap this in like so. Open up the hand, and there's these grooves here. That's gonna go into this open gap here. It can only go one way. Just close it up. And Ultra Magnus has got his ongoing signature weapon of choice, which is a hammer. Yeah. Pretty big hammer. Not bad. I actually like this. It's too bad he can't hold it with both hands because of the way that it's designed. He doesn't have any wrist rotation, so he cannot use it. Unfortunately, the only way that Magnus can use this is just by one hand, or just using it for holding and display and looking pretty badass with it, in all honest opinions. But yeah, this figure is really good. You know, when it really comes down to it, I know a lot of people would say go with the Takara Tomy one, the Transformers Legends, but I like the IDW color palette better. I like this blue better than the darker blue, and just really, in all honesty, there's nothing wrong with this figure except for the fact that they didn't paint his hubcaps. That I had to take care of that, but after doing that, this figure really pops. I don't see anything else that really needs painting. This figure is by far one of the best figures of the Transformers generation / Combiner Wars series. Look at that face, man. That is definitely Ultra Magnus. So cool. I mean, I really cannot praise this figure enough. With this effort that Hasbro has given us is a really good one, and definitely shows that Transformers Combiner Wars did have some really cool figures. And when I say did, I mean, yes, this line is about finished. Combiner Wars is going to be wrapping up spring of this year, and then this summer we should be, well, you know, spring of next year according from the time of this recording, but summer of next year we should be getting to the next series, which is Transformers Titan Wars. And I for one cannot wait, especially with the rumor of Fortress Maximus making his debut in, you know, so many years of an absence. Anyway, for some size comparisons, let's get this over with. Here is Leader Megatron compared to Ultra Magnus. So finally Megatron has himself a rival. Even though Optimus Prime is Megatron's rival, this is no justice, unfortunately. Even though this is pretty accurate to Generation 1, Ultra Magnus was a pretty big boy compared to Optimus Prime. So this makes sense, except for this. So, you know, it is what it is. So I can be thankful that Megatron's finally got somebody to combat for pretend play. So, you know, it's a great figure overall. I'm very impressed. Hasbro should pat themselves on the back for an accomplishment here. Outstanding job. I cannot praise this figure enough. Like I said before, he's definitely a must buy. If you can find him, get him. Don't buy him online though. Scalpers are really raising the prices on this figure, especially on eBay. It makes me sick. Wait for a little while until he finally hits retail. Look how long I had to wait for this figure to finally come out, and he finally did show up at my local Walmart store. I could not be more happy to finally have him a part of my Transformers collection. So that being said, I really got nothing else to show off except for maybe one more surprise. Just bear with me for 1 second while I skip over. Let me go ahead and move Ultra Magnus to the side so I can do my final size comparisons of this video review. And here he is, lo and behold, my precious. I can do better than that. My precious. No, I'm just kidding. This is the last Ultra Magnus figure I've had in this collection, not counting the Classics version, which was just a repaint of Optimus Prime with, you know, some third-party support, you know, City Commander, which really didn't count. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually owned an Ultra Magnus figure, an official Transformers Ultra Magnus figure. So, you know, it really hurts me on the inside. I'm like completely heartbroken right now to see that this figure is falling apart, that he's finally biting the dust after owning him for so many years. All this yellowing, it's really hurting my eyes. Yeah, this is a major size difference in scale for a Leader Class figure compared to a Leader Class figure. Remember, not hollow, very light. It's got some heft to him, so he's pretty much falling over from behind. That's why I've got him leaning on the back of this background. But there you go, guys. There's the major size comparisons between two Ultra Magnus, whatever. They are very cool figures, so, you know, if one of them bites the dust, hey, at least I've got another one that can pretty much say that, yeah, he stands out a little bit more than the Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus, because this is Ultra Magnus. This is G1 Ultra Magnus from the IDW comic books. It's definitely got the name worthy. So, you know, I've got nothing else to say. I've gone on long enough. I really do love this figure, and I recommend him to all Transformers generation collectors out there. G1 or pretty much any kind of Transformers collector. It's definitely worth being in your display. So, questions, comments, you know what to do. Leave it down below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, hit the thumbs down. Please subscribe to my channel for more video reviews. From yours truly, from the reviewing station, this is the one and only Sonic Ranger signing out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you whenever you see me.